Right, let's set this up. Are we live? Are we live? That is the big question on everyone's lips. Am I live? We are live. J Vic in the house first. Oh no, there's an echo. There's an echo. When the show hasn't officially started yet. Right, echo's removed. J Vic, let me check if my comment highlight tool is working. How are you, Jay? How was your Sorare weekend? Right, let me play the intro and then the show will be officially started. It's your boy, Amreezy, and I'm back with another Fantasy FootbLOL. Almost forgot the show we were doing today. Fantasy FootbLOL. Maybe I'm a little bit off. Maybe I'm a little bit not quite there because usually I have a guest. This week's guest had a bit of a last-minute cancellation. It wasn't their fault. There's no blame. They will be back on the show in one of the coming weeks. So I thought I'm going to do a solo episode this week. Have a little bit of a ramble. Maybe it'll give me more of a chance to chat with you guys because I'll have less distractions. So if you're watching this in the future, welcome from the past. We hope the future is everything you dreamed it could be. We hope you have lots of Sorare cash rewards and whatever team you support, unless they're playing Chelsea, we hope they're doing well. Leave a comment about any thoughts you have on the video. If you're watching in the future, drop your thoughts. Comments help me, okay? Comments help your boy Amreezy, because it tells YouTube this is content worthy of a comment. So even if you're watching it and it's not live, you can drop a comment, or you can be like JVic and be an absolute legend and drop the comments in live. JVic says he did not bad this weekend, got my 4th streak in MLS Limited. Very nice. That's a very nice tidy little thing in rare too. And 2nd in rare. Okay, they may have been separate competitions, but you're going for the 5th hot streak in MLS. What's the cash prize for 5th streak in MLS? And what was the cash prize for 4th? Either way, congratulations. I got hot streak 2 in the Premier League, and that was enough of an achievement for me. So streak 4, I've never been to streak 4. Streak 3 is as far as I've been. So congratulations, J Vic. So yeah, usually I have a guest to help me review the Premier League weekend and talk about Sorare in general. There's no guest this week, so I'm going to just be talking about the Sorare weekend just gone. And maybe a bit of Sorare chat as well, maybe. I mean, I did okay this week. I will give more of an in-depth breakdown into my lineups and my lineup previews for the coming weekend on my Thursday Road to Sorare Boss video. But in terms of a quick look at how I did. Now, West Ham versus... Who are West Ham playing? West Ham versus Brentford is happening right now, so we'll keep an eye on this game. Don't open that, obviously. I don't have any players. I do have a full classic West Ham stack, but I didn't play any of them today. Scarles at left back. That feels different. Irving and Fernandez. It looks like a couple of changes in this West Ham team. Him. Somerville doesn't always play, does he? Bowen up front, not on the wing. Interesting West Ham. JVic has confirmed it's $40 cash, $20 credit. 5 is $160 cash. That would be... Let me test my GIF keyboard. Oh, the GIF keyboard's not working. Why is the GIF keyboard not working? Oh, well. Let's imagine there's a GIF now of a guy swimming in money. That's the sort of vibe that the GIF would have added to the show. Good luck, JVic. The channel is with you. Brentford, looks like there's less surprises here in the Brentford lineup. Jordan Henderson getting another game in that midfield. Yeah, I'm imagining this game might be a little boring. I tried to watch it as I was streaming today, but my app that I watch Premier League football on won't let me. It's on HBO here in Mexico. And you can't, because I'm streaming, HBO have a thing where they know I'm streaming somehow, so they won't let me see it. Yeah, Sorare terms. I did okay in Premier League in season this weekend. We've still got one game, but I needed to hit hot streak number 2, which was 380 points, and this lineup did it. I was really annoyed because these 4 players all played first. So if Kudos had had a good game, we could have won like cash quite easily. We were, as you can see here, I'm 66 points away from winning $70. I was 38 points away from $30. So if Kudos just had an assist, a goal involvement, a dribble, done something, we would have won something fun here. But we hit the hot streak. That's all that matters. Well, it's not all that matters, but we hit the hot streak. So happy days all round. And then that was probably my best lineup this Premier League in Season 1. I did have quite a few players doing good, like across the leagues. Some big scores, like Dimitrovic with an 81 in goal. That was quite nice. We just missed the hot streak here in La Liga, but we got promoted. All-Star, we had some fun with a few teams like Santos, my Mexican team. They won 2-0. Bruno Amione here with 92 points, but I didn't put him in the right lineup. I didn't put my Santos Laguna boys in the right lineup. Josh Ashipong with 100, wasted him in my kind of throwaway third under-23 lineup. So I had some huge scores that were wasted this week. Like this All-Star lineup, Brunetta 100, Correa 94, but then all the other Tigres boys let me down because they conceded 3 goals. So that was a shame. Brunetta captain here with 100. Aubameyang's in a pretty good vein of form, but then Palace let me down. Alaves are playing right now, so maybe this lineup does something good if Alaves keep a clean sheet right now. What are they doing right now? What's the score? What is the score in the Deportivo Alaves game? Alaves. They are 6 minutes in, so they're basically playing at the same time as West Ham. Stop offering to open the app. So, yeah, they're the headlines from my Sorare weekend. As I said before, once we've got all of today's results in, had a few days to process, we will, of course, give you a full update on Thursday's video. We've got Champions League football as well coming midweek. I built my lineups just before the stream. I'm going to go for a bit of a mixed bag here. Slight risks with Gabriel and Kudos, but I just can't see. Monaco away is quite a tricky game for Spurs. Arsenal at home to Atletico Madrid. I just can't see Kudos and Gabriel getting rested in such big games. So I'm playing them. I'm going to go for a bit of a Chelsea team here. Chelsea at home to Ajax. Should be a good fixture. I wish João Pedro was playing so I could play my João Pedro. So instead, Anthony Gordon's playing here. And Aubameyang, like I said, Aubameyang is in great form for Marseille. Ignore his scores for his country. There's a DMP here for his country. And then his scores here, again, international football, not the best way to judge Aubameyang. But in the league, I mean, these are good scores. 68, 94, 80, and 60, all in the league. So we're expecting him to start against Sporting Lisbon in the Champions League. So let's go Aubameyang. Let's see what we can get. So, and then I'm going to go for a full Villarreal stack, which I don't hope for. I'm not hoping for much here. 5 Villarreal players playing Manchester City. It is at home for the Yellow Submarines. They are playing at home, so I'm going to play 5 of them. Also, Cardona, Big Georgie, and Gay were all rested midweek. So they should play all 3 of these. Goalkeeper seems like he's the number 1 goalkeeper now. Again, maybe they change it. Maybe the other guy gets a game, but you know. We've got less to worry about in Champions League because you can't get relegated, so it's fun. I like this classic team. It's got a lot of Chelsea at home to Ajax, and then it's got Julian Alvarez and Phil Foden, who are both in good form. So even though slightly tricky away fixtures, they're big guys, they're big players. They're both wearing Manchester City shirts, which I like. I like the OCD in that. So let's see how that lineup does, and this lineup is just a bit of a throwaway. So there are my lineups. Let's stop this now and let's get back to the usual structure of the show, which is reviewing the Premier League weekend just gone. And it started with my Chelsea boys beating Nottingham Forest 3-0. I was delighted. Didn't quite work for me in terms of Sorare because João Pedro had a quiet game. There was no Enzo Fernandez. Caicedo didn't start the game. So there were a few huge absences in the team in terms of Sorare, but I think I did okay with some Chelsea cards because I had Sanchez, I had Cucurella, and Caicedo came off the bench and did okay, I seem to remember. Did he do okay? I don't think he did well enough. But I think luckily I had Caicedo and João Pedro and Romero, who got injured before the game. I had all three of them in the same lineup, which is kind of nice on Sorare when all of your DMPs go in the same lineup, and it means that you kind of other serious lineup, they all start, and apart from Kudos, all do well. So thoughts on this game? I mean, I think it's hard to analyze Nottingham Forest too much now from this performance, because now we know the manager's gone. Technically, it could be a completely different Nottingham Forest next game, because this was a Forest team with, they're not supporting the manager gets sacked. Now they've got to go again. They've got to motivate themselves. They've got to impress a new manager. It looks like it might be Sean Dyche, which could be sort of similar to Nuno's football. It could be like Nottingham Forest are going to go back to how they were playing last season. A bit more solid at the back. Shrugs. He shrugs. We don't know exactly, but I've gone out and I've already bought an in-season Nottingham Forest card because the prices are in the bin. I think I even convinced my dear friend Hernduzi to buy a Nottingham Forest in-season card as well. So we're going to be idiots when Forest don't turn their form around. But if they do turn their form around, Forest, now's the time to get them. I mean, they've lost the manager. Prices are low. I think Chris Wood, Hernduzi bought him for like £2. I bought Gibbs White for £5 at auction. So, you know, Forest cards are there if you want to take a risk. I'm only taking a risk on one of them. And it's partly because I needed some midfielders as well to kind of mix my lineups up a bit. And Gibbs White played up front as a sort of a high number 10 last game. Now, we don't know if he's going to play like that with Sean Dyche, if Sean Dyche is the manager or whoever the manager is. But what we can kind of use our football brains to work out here is that Gibbs White signed a new contract extension at Forest, is the main guy, is the captain. Whoever the new manager is, surely they build a team around Morgan Gibbs White, because he's been terrible lately. And I don't think it's, or I don't know, it might be his fault. He may just not have got his head sort of, when he was rumoured to leave Nottingham Forest, maybe he just didn't get his head right. But the gamble I'm taking is that it was all the manager. That's the easy gamble to take. All of these average scores were because the system wasn't right, because it was the manager, because of all of this. Now with a new manager, Forest are going to be good again. Gibbs White is going to be doing what he was doing last season, which was these kind of scores, these kind of hundreds. So, I mean, look at this. When Gibbs White's in form, when Nottingham Forest are playing well, this is what he's capable of. And this isn't like I've scrolled back years. This is last season, kind of mid-season last season. So if we can get Gibbs White back to this form with a new manager, then it'll be worth the low price that we got because of these scores. So that's my kind of take on Forest. I think it's a good time to take a few gambles, pick up a few players. Like, I've got a full in-season out classic stack from Forest from last season, so I don't want to get too many, but I don't mind picking up a Gibbs White, maybe a Chris Wood, especially if it's Sean Dyche. Just feel like Chris Wood and Sean Dyche are going to be made for each other. Chris Wood, Gibbs White, Anderson, maybe a Williams or a Milenkovic. I think you could pick any of the defenders and just hope the new manager turns it around. In terms of Chelsea, it's hard because Forest got battered and they sacked the manager. It's hard to tell if Chelsea were good again or they were just playing a bad team that have no confidence anymore. Or it could be a bit of both. I was impressed with Chelsea defensively. I mean, look at these numbers. Josh Achipong had a crazy game. All I know in Sorare terms, though, is as soon as I play Josh Achipong in season Premier League, he doesn't start that week. That's all I know. So I do have his card. I got it ages ago, just as a kind of collection piece. I'd love him to stay in the team because he's academy boy, great player, cheap Sorare card. Let's hope so. Attacking was a bit dull in the first half from Chelsea. It's a bit worrying. Without Moises Caicedo, Chelsea just don't have that same mettle. They also missed Enzo Fernandez. And there was a lot of talk online about, Chelsea missing Caicedo. As soon as Caicedo comes on at halftime, they do better, which is true. But I do think Enzo Fernandez as well was being missed, as well as a proper number 10. As you can see here, Santos played number 10 in the first half. Didn't really work for Chelsea. What they did, interestingly, was they brought Mark Gui, who was at Sunderland earlier on loan. They brought him on for Santos. Pedro then went to play number 10. Gui played as the striker, and Pedro was so much more involved, so much more lively. I think Chelsea might do that going forward until Delap is back from injury. I think it will be Pedro playing in the number 10, especially with Palmer injured till November now, late November. Pedro should play as the number 10, and then up front will be either Mark Gui or Tyreek George. Now, both are quite cheap on Sorare. Both are quite undervalued. The problem is you don't know which one's going to play. I've got a feeling that Gui played in the league. Tyreek George might play in Europe. I would keep an eye on Chelsea against Ajax this midweek. If their striker is, say, Tyreek George, and he scores a goal, he might get a chance again at the weekend. The problem then is his price will go up if he scores against Ajax. Same with Gui, whichever one starts. So, kind of, if you want to take a gamble on Chelsea strikers, you probably want to do that now. Before the price rises. I think you can get a Mark Gui for like £3. What's the easiest way of doing this? Let's look at my Chelsea collection from this year. I think Tyreek George you can get for like £1. Tyreek George £1.67 and Mark Gui £3.73. So one of them is going to play up front because João Pedro is so much more useful when he's playing off someone. The other thing I'm thinking of is I'm scouting Liam. Where is he? Where's Liam Delap? I don't like it when the striker is this far up the collection score. But Liam Delap, £4.20, is going to get back in that first team, especially if it works with João Pedro not playing as the striker. Liam Delap, there's a position waiting for you as soon as you get fit. So keep an eye on the Chelsea backup options. That's my analysis from that game. West Ham Brentford still 0-0. I like that we can see it here, so I don't have to keep jumping around screens. If you are watching West Ham Brentford, let me know if there's a goal. Brighton versus the Tsunami. Now, this was a shock. I didn't see this one coming. I thought Newcastle had got their act together. If we look at the last couple of results for Newcastle, they beat Forest, they beat Union SG, they lost to Arsenal, which is kind of okay. In the cup, you know, so I just had the feeling Newcastle are back. Newcastle are playing well again. And I watched this game because I just wanted to keep an eye on Walter Mada for FPL reasons. I have Isaac from Liverpool. I wanted to get rid of Isaac after this weekend. I didn't know who to get, so there's a couple of strikers I was watching. Walter Mada looks like the real deal. I don't think he's as appealing for Sorare just because he's one of those strikers where if he gets involved, he's like a bit of a more budget Erling Haaland. If he scores, it'll give you a 60+ score, which is great. If he doesn't score, you're going to be really annoyed because he'll get you like a low score. So for FPL, though, I think he's probably worth it because he's cheaper. And when he scores, it's worth having him for the weeks when he doesn't score. But Sorare, you kind of want someone that is guaranteed to score every week. Or if they're a forward, probably a winger that is getting attacking returns every week. So Walter Mada, I was very impressed with. Enough for FPL, but not enough for Sorare. His goal was beautiful. I mean, the confidence to score like that, to flick the ball, like one of those. I love those types of goals. Those kind of not looking flicks. I don't know what the technical term is, but they're back towards the goal. The ball comes, they let it go through their legs, and then they just flick it with their kind of leg further away from the ball, and it goes in. It reminds me of Olivier Giroud. So I think he's very exciting. I think Newcastle have done quite well there. Like, he seems to have it all. He's got a bit of power, pace. He's tall. He's got some technique. So yeah, if he can just get settled in with Anthony Gordon, that's who I've got on Sorare, Gordon. They can get going. But I was a bit concerned with Newcastle. I think Brighton were good, but they weren't like so good that Newcastle couldn't cope with them. I think Newcastle could have. Maybe some of their players were tired from international duty. I don't quite know who was on international duty. Maybe Tonali, Guimaraes, Elanga, Gordon certainly was. Walden. Maybe a lot of these were all involved in international duty. Maybe that's why they were a bit sluggish. And Brighton, like Danny Welbeck, certainly wasn't involved in international duty. So yeah, maybe. But I was impressed with Brighton. I think it was a little bit of a case of Newcastle being sluggish, but Brighton being impressive. And what struck me from this team, and as you can see from these ratings, Minter, great. Rutter, great. well, whoever they play up front has great service. But I don't want to go for the service. What I would that meme of that meme. What I did was I went. Brighton were really dangerous down the right side of the pitch, but on the left side they weren't as dangerous. So I went, okay, when Mitoma is back from injury, and he was 50-50 before this game, when Mitoma comes back, he's going to slot into this team so easily and create some chances. This is a long way of me saying I picked up a Mitoma card during this game, because I was like, he's going to come back next week. This team looks like maybe they're going to pick up some confidence from this score. If Mitoma comes back and scores well, and you can buy him for £4 from the auction, it's a no-brainer for me. So that was my take from Brighton versus the Toonami. Next up was Burnley versus Leeds. I didn't watch this game. I saw the highlights. Before this game, I was like, this is an interesting one. If you were a Sorare manager on a bit of a budget, I can imagine there was a lot of people with Burnley stacks and with Leeds stacks, both going into this game thinking, this is the kind of game week when my budget stack delivers and pays itself back. So if you had 5 Leeds players, I can imagine you went into this game like, we can beat Burnley. If you had 5 Burnley players, I'm guessing you were thinking, home fixture at Leeds, this is why you have those budget stacks for these kind of game weeks. Also, it would have been especially interesting because Manchester United were playing Liverpool and Man City were playing Everton. So it's not like Arsenal had an away fixture to Fulham. It's not like any of the kind of big teams had easy wins. So yeah, I would have been very confident as a Burnley owner. I think if I was a Burnley owner, though, I would have had Jadon Anthony as captain. So I would have been a bit annoyed he didn't do much. Yellow card, 6.3 rating from Opta. So not the best performance. Shout out to Leslie. I think I've got him frozen. I've got this guy frozen in the vault. I don't think I can unfroze him because I unfroze someone else at the weekend. So can he keep this up, please? So I can actually get some use out of that classic Chelsea card. He usually plays deeper. He usually plays... Can we drag the head to make it look professional? Here we go. Look at me. I think I'm Gary Neville. He usually plays here. So I wonder if playing him further forward is going to be quite good if we have his card. Shout out to Royal Ivy. Fleming's back in the starting lineup, the Lord and Saviour. Walker, 8.4 from Kyle Walker. I've got one of his cards as well. I had no intention of using a Kyle Walker card all season, but maybe if Burnley can keep this up, Kyle Walker, I might get some usage out of my Kyle Walker card. I just don't. I've no offense to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, no offense to Dominic Calvert-Lewin's family and his friends. I don't mean this in a mean way. I just don't know if he's a Premier League quality striker anymore. I think his injury problems. I think he wasted a few chances in this game. I definitely wouldn't be looking at him on Sorare. I mean, it's not financial advice, as we always say on the channel, but if you like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, you go crazy. But I mean, I want to see how many big chances he missed, because it felt like he missed a few. Okay. No, but nothing. No shots on goal, no contests won, no penalty entries, no big chances missed. I don't know why Leeds signed him. I really don't. I think they'd be better off giving one of their kids a chance. Or Nemecha or Pirot. I'd play one of those instead of Calvert-Lewin. But you know, he has been in the Premier League for a lot of years. He does have Premier League experience, as people like to say. And I do get, when you're a promoted team in the Premier League, you do want a striker who's been around, done it before, got some experience of the league. So I get why they signed him. I just don't think he's Mr. Reliable. So I'm worried for Leeds. There was a bit of excitement about them a few weeks ago. I just think Burnley and Sunderland look far better equipped, have better attacks, have better defenses. They have better, I just don't think Leeds have a good, solid defense, and I don't think they have a clinical strike force. Burnley, you can at least say they have a solid defense, so they can keep clean sheets. Sunderland, they seem to have quite a few attacking midfielders, Xhaka in midfield, really, midfield, Sunderland really strong. Leeds, I mean, Longstaff's decent. Rondon, fine. Stacks had some good games. The goalkeeper's okay. But there's not like a area of the pitch where you can go, Leeds are solid. That was my takeaway from the highlights anyway. If you're a Leeds fan and you've got a more in-depth tactical breakdown, let me know in the comments. But I just think Leeds don't excel in any area of the pitch. They have a few good individuals, but they don't have enough in the same area of the pitch to kind of give them an edge over teams. So I think this Burnley result kind of showed that Burnley do have an edge at least somewhere. Look at the defensive scores, all above 7. Holding midfielders doing well. So yeah, they don't have the best maybe attackers, but they do have Jadon Anthony. And on the day, as you can see, like the defenders can chip in with goals. So yeah, Burnley Leeds was a fun one. Palace Bournemouth, I mean, talk about a fun one. Why didn't I watch this game? It was at 3 o'clock, I think. I think I was watching Chelsea. No, Chelsea was the early kickoff. I had to wake up at 5:30 in the morning to watch that game. I think I was just watching I think I was watching Man City, and I think I was watching other games. So I didn't watch the Palace game. I did have Semenyo captain somewhere, I think. Did I? No, I don't think I captained him, because I did think this would be a tricky game for Semenyo. I know I did captain him in my worst Premier League lineup, my throwaway lineup, which I'm surprised is not going to get relegated. If Areola can keep a clean sheet, maybe we scrape a bit of essence here. How far are we off the essence? 30 off the essence? Come on, Areola, save a penalty. So yeah, I didn't watch this game. Obviously, I wanted Semenyo to do well, but I just knew Palace would be a tricky game. In my head, though, I thought this was going to be a draw. Tick. Well done, Amreezy. But I thought it was going to be 0-0 or 1-1. I didn't see a 3-3. I feel like Palace games shouldn't be 3-3 with how good their defense are against anyone. Like, even if it's Man City or Liverpool, Arsenal, I just think Palace should concede 1 or 2 goals. So to concede 3 isn't a good sign from Palace. Again, maybe tired from international duty, although Gahey would have been playing for England. Henderson didn't play, I don't think. Does Richards play for the US? Forget it. Maybe they were tired from international duty. Pino's looking lively. Sar's back. Mateta's back. Mateta needed to come back because he's had... Where is he? Where did I play my Mateta card? Mateta's been dreadful lately. Absolutely dreadful. I still played him in an all-star lineup because I believe. But, I mean, look at these scores lately. Like, these are oranges. Oranges from Mateta. But in the last 2, he had a good game for France. Maybe that France game gave him some confidence. The goal against Iceland gave him a bit of confidence here. Then he gets a hat-trick against Bournemouth. Now he's getting into a European game. Well, maybe he gets rested for this European game. But then he's got Arsenal. So, I mean, that's what they want. They want an inform Mateta for Arsenal. So, if you've got Palace cards, I'd be keeping them. I wouldn't be getting rid of them. I'd be a nice stack of Mateta and Sarr as your 2 forwards. As in, like, your striker and your extra card as a forward. Adam Wharton in midfield. Probably Lacroix or Gay in defense, and then Henderson in goal. Solid in-season lineup. And I know this because I did that last season with Palace, and pretty much the same players. I didn't have Sarr because I don't think he was there. Was he there? No, I didn't have Sarr because I had Eze. Last season I had Mateta, Eze, Wharton, Lacroix, and Henderson, and they did great. So shout out to anyone with Palace stats doing well. Bournemouth, I've sold a lot of my Bournemouth cards. I was a few weeks ago talking about Bournemouth as this is the team that I want to have my in-season stack from. So I bought a Semenyo, I bought an Evan Nielsen, and I crafted a Brooks, who isn't first team anymore. But the Brooks was a shiny, it was a animated card. So it was helping with the collection scores. I've since sold Evan Nielsen and I've sold Brooks because I was going to build a Bournemouth stack, but Evan Nielsen wasn't the player that I thought he was. Cliver isn't the player I thought he was. Last season, Evan Nielsen and Cliver were fun players. I had them. I know because I had them and then sold them. This season, it seems like Semenyo's the fun Sorare option to own. Evan Nielsen is playing like one of those strikers where he gets you like Mateta was a few weeks ago, just orange scores. And if he scores, sure, he might do well, but he hasn't been scoring much. And then I guess it was lucky. Why didn't Evan Nilsson play? Oh, he was injured. Whoa. I did very fortunate there. I sold Evan Nilsson. Let's have a look at Evan Nilsson. Because I sold Evan Nilsson, I think, before that injury. I sold him just because I wasn't impressed with my Bournemouth picks anymore. And I was thinking, I don't want a Bournemouth stack anymore. I'll just play Semenyo and no one else. Let's take a deeper look at Evan Nilsson. So the reason why I sold him was because these 3 weeks I've had him, I've been like, in fact, I've had him since the beginning of the season. So yes, I had a few good weeks here, but this was a penalty one, which you can't rely on that every game, and 1 goal all season. He didn't score against Leeds, didn't score against Fulham. Those are games when I was worried. So I sold him pretty much straight after the Fulham game for about £6. Maybe we can see the green dot where I sold him. Is that me? No. Why is that red? Where am I? It wasn't... Was it a week ago? Oh, well, we're not going to find it. I sold him for £6. It's annoying me I can't see the green dot. Where's the green dot? Sorare. Is the green dot only when you buy a card? Is it not when you sell a card? I think it's only when you buy a card because the names that it's showing are yeah, no. The other buyers. So of course it's not going to be in green. Unless it's red. Unless the red is me. The red is me. So it shows you green when you buy a card, red when you sell a card. Okay. So I sold him for $6.11. That's technically profit because I bought him with, yep, thanks for the confirmation, Ivailo. Have I pronounced your name right? Ivailo. That's a cool name. Sorry if I pronounced it wrong, but yeah, I think it is red when you, well, we've proved it's red when you sell. So yeah, I was going to say, I bought this with market credits. I remember buying it with market credits. So that's a tiny profit. We'll take it. We'll take all the wins we can get. So I sold him here and I'm expecting his price to drop now he's injured. Sort of £3. So I think I got lucky there. But anyway, yeah, I wasn't impressed. Now, this guy who came in Evan Nilsson's place scored twice. How much is he going for on Sorare? So maybe I can get sucked back into another Bournemouth stack. But instead of going for Evan Nilsson, I can go for Ellie Jr. Krupi. He was coming off the bench early on in the season, so no, nothing. It's hard to be too harsh on him because he was coming off the bench. I'm guessing he was only getting like 1 minute. Yeah, these scores you can't really analyze them too much. If he's getting 1 minute, 2 minutes, and against Spurs 9 minutes. So yeah, we can't judge him on those. Then he had 2 bench appearances, then scored against Leeds off the bench, benched against Fulham, but now with 2 goals against Palace, Evan Nilsson injured, you're guessing he's going to start. No European football for Bournemouth, nothing like that for them to worry about. Last season he had a lot of fun at Lorient. Look at the scores last year. Look at what he was doing in France. Ellie Jr., Krupi. Why have they not been starting him? He was killing it in France. So, I mean, I'm guessing his price has gone up. Now, what I want to buy him is I want to see him not do anything in the next game. So his price comes down, the hype dies, and then we buy him a little bit cheaper. That's my tactics on this guy. Because as you can see from his prices, he was going for... Man, if you got him for £2.77, you are having a lovely old time. If you bought him here, probably you're buying him just as a collection score to help with your Semenyo cards. Now he's gone, yep, skyrocketed up. So we want this to come down. What are his fixtures like? What are Bournemouth's fixtures like? So, Forest at home, new manager with Forest. No idea how that game goes. Could be a good game though, because you'd guess the manager's not quite settled in yet, not quite got his tactics to the team yet. So you'd guess that's a good game. But then Man City away, I don't like. So I could wait till after Man City to buy him, because maybe these two games his price drops. Let's say Forest are really up for it, solid at the back, keep a clean sheet, then he's not going to get a good score. Then he's got Man City away. Again, not going to get a good score. Then Villa away, possibly could get him here. West Ham at home, Sunderland away, Everton away, Chelsea at home. Even Chelsea, I quite like him. So I quite like him for these four games. Maybe the Villa game. So let's keep an eye on him. He's on the watch list. So that was a big takeaway for me for the Bournemouth game, was that I was right to sell Evan Nielsen and Brooks. And I'll either just have Semenyo from now on, or maybe Truffet, Semenyo, and Krupi. We kind of go for a left wing. I've also got my eye on Petrovic in Classic, because he's part of a Chelsea collection from a few years ago. So I've got my eye on Bournemouth. Palace, nothing new there. A good team, good players. I'm just not going to go for them because I've got all of them in from last year. But that was quite a long review for Palace Bournemouth. Man City, what have I opened up? I've opened up an ad. Man City Everton. Not really any surprises from Man City's performance. It's fairly solid. They do look like they're getting back. No Rodri. Did Rodri come off the bench? No, Rodri's injured again, isn't he? Injured till early November. Rodri. How great he used to be. I don't like Aki was a surprise. O'Reilly, I wouldn't know. If I was building a Man City team, I would never know what defenders to go for except Diaz. Haaland looks good again. Reinders looked okay. Foden. I did have a Foden captain somewhere because I was like, he didn't play international football. So I was like, Foden's going to be nice and fresh for this. And he was fresh, but he didn't do anything. He almost did some stuff. I watched this game. He almost did some stuff. Everton definitely missed Grealish. But I don't think Grealish would have been enough to get a result here for Everton. I think they were quite weak. The wheels a little bit falling off the bus for Everton. A little bit. I think they need some easier games though, because they need some confidence boosting games, because I watched this game against West Ham and I wasn't impressed with them. Watched it against Man City and wasn't impressed with them. So maybe it's a case of they were playing Man City. Next they've got Tottenham. That's a good game. That is a very good game. A fully rested Grealish. Grealish is going to be rested for 3 weeks now. He didn't play international football. He didn't play last weekend. He's got no European football. So Grealish is going to come into this game against Tottenham. Tottenham do have Champions League football. Away fixture against Monaco. That's not going to be easy for Tottenham. So you're going to have a 3-week rested Grealish against a tiring Tottenham. That could be fun. And then they've got Sunderland and Fulham and Manchester United. So these could all be good games. So I'm hoping Everton get back to what I was seeing earlier on in the season, because I own Grealish and Dewsbury Hall. I've closed the window. I've closed the window. Oh, what am I doing? What am I doing? So yeah, hopefully Everton get back. Sunderland, what are Wolves doing? What are Wolves doing? If you're Wolves and you're watching this right now, maybe you're watching this. First of all, if you're Wolves and you're watching this right now, give the video a like, because the ratio of people watching to likes, no me gusta. But if you're Wolves and you're watching this in the future, give it a like and a comment in the future and say, hi, Amreezy, it's Wolves here. It's layoffs. We're trying our hardest. Give us a break. Strand Larsen was back. Now, as someone that owns a full Wolves stack from last year, obviously I would never buy an in-season stack. I'm really hoping to get some usage out of my Strand Larsen card. He's been injured for a long time. So when I saw that he was back in the starting lineup against Sunderland, I was like, ooh, maybe this is the game. He comes back, but maybe he didn't. He did nothing. Wolves did nothing. I'm worried about Wolves. And they're one of those teams where if they get relegated, you look at the team and you go, who are like the players that all the other Premier League teams are going to be like, oh, Wolves have got relegated. Now we can get Matt Doherty on a cheap, or now we can get Sam Johnstone on cheap, or now we can get who in that team? Maybe Strand Larsen, but I feel like this season Strand Larsen's going to get no service. playing in a poor team with no confidence. It's probably going to harm his reputation having a season this year where he doesn't score that many goals. So then he's probably not going to be, nobody's going to want to buy him next season. So Wolves are in this really weird position where they look bad. None of the players look like anybody would buy them next season, which is an indicator that you're probably going to get relegated because your players aren't desirable. The only salvation, I think, is if they sack the manager and bring in some kind of Sam Allardyce type manager who just keeps them up. Maybe they want Ange. Maybe they want Big Ange. But yeah, Wolves so disappointing. On the other hand, Sunderland, once again, we're saying on the channel, Sunderland were the budget stack to buy pre-season. A Chaka, great scores, always involved. Enzo Lefebvre is a funny one. He doesn't seem to play every game, but when he plays, 7.2, that's a decent score considering no goal involvement, and still he gets a 7.2 score. If he can nail down a position in the team, I really like the idea of having a double up with Xhaka and Enzo Lefebvre, but who knows? They've got a budget goalkeeper. Ballard puts in some decent performances. Mukiele scored a goal. Don't think he's going to score a goal every game week, but he is a very attacking wingback, so he's quite fun to own. I also like the Reynaldo at left back, who is injured for... When's he back? Oh, he's suspended. I like this Reynaldo guy as well. So if you're Sunderland, you're loving life. You're having a great time. You're enjoying yourself. Last game on Saturday was Fulham versus Arsenal. Now, I had, as you saw earlier, Gabriel captain, and he got an assist, which was glorious. Clean sheet and an assist. Gabriel, what a player. I'm finding this year on Sorare, I've got loads of defenders. Defenders are like my... That's last week. Defenders are some of my best scoring players. And like, I wasn't doing this last year, but this year I'm finding myself building a lot of lineups where I'm going 4 players and then the 5th extra player is a defender. Now, last year, I'm pretty sure I always wanted a midfielder or a striker as the kind of extra player. This year, I've got players like Gabriel, Christian Romero, Cucurella. These are defenders that on their day can score massive. And you can see from this lineup, Gabriel and Cucurella both scoring really well. So for me, in-season Premier League this year is the year of the defender. Look, even Kirkes, an extra defender in that lineup, defender here. Should have probably put an extra defender here. So yeah, Gabriel, delightful. Delighted with Gabriel. And I bought Gabriel. Let's have a little look at what kind of business we did with Gabriel. I bought him kind of what he's going for now, but I've had all season usage from him. So I think I got him at a good price. It's search for the green dot again. Was it 3 months ago? Has it been that long, gang? Have we been playing Sorare for that long? When you like Sorare. Whenever you like. There I is. There I am. Amreezy, £37.42. I bought him all the way back here because he had a little injury. So everyone was hyped about him here, but then he was, it was like the first game week of the season. There was a lot of talk that he's going to be injured. He's not going to play that first game. So I bought him when it was dipping on the kind of logic of, okay, he's going to miss one game. I don't mind missing him for the first game of the season, but I want him for the second game of the season. I think the second game was like a really easy fixture as well. So I think I've done quite well to get him for that price because, you know, I had all of that usage from him during when the hot streaks were ×5 and ×2. And his price now isn't that far off kind of what he was here. Like he's had peaks and dips, but he's kind of always been hovering around the £30 mark. So go Gabriel. That was a long way of me saying go Gabriel. Keep it up. So yeah, I wasn't impressed with anyone else in Arsenal's team. I know they won. And I'm talking about in terms of Sorare. I was impressed with Arsenal in terms of being title contenders, winning games when you're not necessarily blowing the opposition away, looked solid at the back. Yeah, they didn't create that many chances. Gyökeres missed a few. Eze wasn't on form. But Fulham never really looked like scoring a few, so... I was impressed by Arsenal in terms of title challenges. Wasn't that impressed in terms of Sorare. Like, it wasn't like anyone I was going, oh, I really need a Trossard now. I really need a Eze now. I wasn't really thinking that. So I think defensively, Arsenal are going to be really fun. If I had a whole bunch of money injected into Sorare, I'd go Saliba and Raya or Calafiori, Timber, Raya. I'd go for the defenders and just build a stack of 2 Arsenal defenders and a goalkeeper. Fulham were not that great, to be honest. Iwobi had a good game against his old team. He did look like he was motivated, but he had no one to play with. Jimenez, 5.9. Mexico's very own, Raul Jimenez, 5.9. I mean, that's terrible. Where's Muniz is out till early November. Yeah, Muniz is not going to have a problem getting back in that team when he's fit. That's what we can safely say. How bad's that Anderson injury? If that Anderson injury is bad, Fulham might be in trouble because he's huge for them. Tom Kenny getting an injury as well. Might be worrying times ahead for Fulham, but Fulham are weird. You never know. Like every week when I say Fulham, like I'm worried about them. The next week they go on and beat someone 3-0. So tune in next week when Fulham beat Newcastle away. Wait a minute. Fulham have got Wolves at home after the cup game, which is good because whenever there's a League Cup and then a Premier League game, usually the Premier League team rest their players for the League Cup game, so you can kind of really be certain on who's going to start the Premier League game. So for the Wolves game, you're going to be in a position where you'll know who's playing. They'll probably play an academy striker, so you'll be like, okay, Jimenez is definitely going to be playing. Iwobi might get rested, so again, Iwobi definitely plays this game. So if you want a one-off week, a one-week punt, Fulham Wolves could be fun. Yeah, maybe keep an eye on Fulham. Who else are we keeping an eye on? Bournemouth? Yeah. So this week, we're going to have Fulham v Wolves and Bournemouth v someone else fun. So Saturday, November the 1st could be a fun game for the budget stacks on Sorare. Right, where are we? We are... That was Saturday. There was only 2 games on Sunday, so only 2 more games for us to review, gang. Tottenham 1, Aston Villa 2. As someone that sold Morgan Rogers like 2 weeks ago, I didn't enjoy seeing him score a worldie. As someone that played a full 5 in-season Tottenham cards, wasn't happy with this. What are they doing up front? Thomas Frank is such a good, intelligent manager. What is he doing up for? Why is he playing Odebear and Tell? I'm not good enough for a team that won a challenge for the top 4. Like, what is he doing? Thomas Frank, what are you doing? He sorted out the defense. They weren't that great this game. I think they missed Romero massively. Hopefully that injury is not too serious for Romero. It just says muscle injury. We don't have a time frame yet because I spent some good money on Romero. I want to see some returns from that. Thiago scored. Did he? Oh, right. Oh, I'm so confused. I was like, Thiago scored now in this game? He doesn't play. Wait. Thiago scored in real life. West Ham clean sheet gone. Just before half time as well. Great time to score. I am going to finish this stream when we've reviewed the last 2 games. And I will be watching the second half of this game, seeing what kind of character West Ham are made of. It looks like Paquetá has been playing up front and not Bowen, which is strange. I don't like to see someone like Paquetá playing up front. That doesn't feel right. Drills Beats, welcome to the channel, mate. Hope you're doing well. Bad FPL week was wow, that's a great rank overall. Stupidly decided to captain Jadon Anthony. Oh, Drills. I don't think it's that stupid, mate. I don't think whenever you have a week like that on FPL, I don't think you can be too hard on yourself because it was a good, like, he had Leeds at home. He should have done better. We reviewed the game a minute ago. I don't know if you saw Drill Beats, but I was saying it was, if I was making a Sorare lineup with Burnley players, I would have had Jadon Anthony as captain. Like, that was the sensible decision. So if you keep playing FPL, making those kind of decisions, I think long run, you'll do well. But sorry to hear that. That's some bad luck. What am I looking for? I'm looking for Tottenham, yeah. If if I had Jadon Anthony in my fantasy team, I might have captained him as well. I mean, I went for Haaland, obviously, but I can see why he did that drill beats, and it would have been really good if he'd have scored. But yeah, I just don't get Tottenham's attack right now. I like Richarlison as a player, but I don't think he should be starting for them. I think Dominic Solanke maybe is the pick when he gets fit, maybe. But I just think Simmons is taking a while to settle in. Kudos is being way too hit and miss. I captained Kudos in one of my lineups and was very frustrated with him. Odebear, I just think these are players that should be coming off the bench, not starting games. I don't have any concerns about them defensively in midfield. It's just these guys who all did bad at the weekend. Terrible. Villa without Ollie Watkins came off the bench, was quite interesting to see. Again, it's hard to tell because Spurs were missing quite a few players, so I was a bit like, is Villa just, it's one of those classic cases of are Villa good or are Spurs bad? It was hard to tell from this game, but there were a few players that did well. As you can see here, Kamara with an 8 rating. I missed that. What's he going for? Has he been starting games for Villa, Kamara? He's not been on my radar. He has. Started the last 3 games, 2 assists and a good score against Tottenham with no goal involvement. I like this. £9 I don't quite like. If he was around about £5, I probably would get one. Again, they've got Man City coming up and Liverpool. So again, another player where I like this. If he does bad against City and Liverpool and his price comes down a bit, then he might be one to go for. So, and again, it all depends on how Villa are doing because like they've not put enough good performances in a row for us to think, okay, Villa are definitely a good team now. However, they have put a few good performances, so they may be in that territory now where they're worth a gamble if you're feeling a bit risky. But I've taken my gambles this week. I've gone for Gibbs White and I've gone for Mitoma. So I'm holding off Villa until after the Liverpool game. And speaking of Liverpool, last game for us to review this week. How long have we been doing today? It's a little bit of a shorter video this week because I've not got a guest. Usually we'd have a guest to riff off and hassle and pester with silly jokes. So we're going to finish with Liverpool versus Manchester United. What a game. This was a fun one to watch. Where are Manchester United in the table now? Because I think they're above Chelsea. No, they're not above Chelsea, but they're 1 point behind Chelsea. 2 points behind Liverpool. I mean, is Amorim turning it around? Is Ruben Amorim turning things around? That is what I'm asking myself. I was impressed with this. I'd be a little bit worried now if I was a Benjamin Sesko owner because it looks like he likes this front three with no strikers and kind of rotating Mount, Cunha and Buemo all kind of taking turns going up front. And to be honest, if the 3 of them can kind of gel, I can see that working and Sesko being a kind of plays in the cups and comes off the bench because he's a great option off the bench, and then maybe scores a few goals off the bench, scores a few goals in the cup, gets himself settled in, gets his confidence up, and then could look to come back into the first team. But I think for now, I mean, also you do have the worry Mason Mount could get injured any day now. That's what Mason Mount does. So maybe you could risk a gamble on one of these guys. I think on Buemo is less of a gamble. Scored the goal this game, looked good. Cunha did look good as well. Didn't do any goal involvements, but a 6.9 is not the worst score. I just think with Man United, the players are always too high. Prices are always too high. Like, Cunha's going for a tenner. And his scores probably don't deserve a £10 price. Let's see what they do against Brighton. I don't think I'm going to be going for any Manchester United players, but let's see. Now, Liverpool. Concerning times indeed. I don't know why they bought 2 strikers for that much money. I don't know why they didn't buy a centre-back. And you know what? Controversial take from Amreezy. So I'm ending the stream on full camera mode. I think Liverpool made a huge mistake not selling Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk in the summer, or even last summer. There were offers. Saudi were offering crazy money. I think Liverpool have got a bit of a problem with players like Isaac, Gakpo, Wirtz. They're living in Salah's shadow. It's a bit of a hard thing. Salah's shadow. Salah's shadow. Salah's shadow. They're living in Salah's shadow, and he's not got the energy he used to. He's not got Trent Alexander-Arnold really helping him at right back anymore. And I think, look at this, 6.4 rating Salah got that. Salah is not the same Salah anymore. I think Liverpool should have cashed out on him when his market value was really high. Spend that money on buying, it sounds silly, but players like Jared Bowen, players who are like Premier League proven, could slot straight into that team, who aren't necessarily young like Wirtz, who can just slot in the team, do a job straight away. I think they missed a trick there. I think they've got enough quality in that team now to get by without Salah. And yeah, it would be tricky, but it would allow you to rebuild. Now they're just, you can't drop Salah, you got to play him, and they're just waiting for Salah to leave before the next guy can step up and step up to the plate, fill his shoes. And Van Dijk just looks slow, doesn't look like he's got it. I think they should have signed 2 centre-backs and a different centre midfielder who can actually tackle. I know everybody likes Gravenberch and McAllister and Szoboszlai, and they all get such great reviews from the million Liverpool pundits that we have on TV, but I don't think any of those midfielders for Liverpool can like break up play like Caicedo can, or Zubamendi, or Rodri, or that type of player. I think they're all great players that would go alongside a Caicedo, a Kante, that type of player. Gravenberch and McAllister, they sit deep, but none of them have none of them break up play regularly like someone like Kante or Caicedo. So I think they should have signed a CDM, a centre-back, instead of 2 strikers that you probably don't need 2, especially when they could have got Isaac in the next summer for half the price. They could have just played Ekitike, who was on great form, had a unhappy Isaac at Newcastle for a season, and then just bought him next year for way cheaper. So I think they've done some ridiculous business. I think I'd be worried if I was Liverpool. I just don't think there's enough attacking rhythm. I think there's too many the players don't go with each other. There's no midfielder who's holding the midfield together. There's no sort of striker number 10 relationship yet. Now maybe that'll come with Florian Wirtz. Maybe he'll get a relationship with Isaac over time. What I can see happening is, and I'm recording this on the 20th of October, I'm just going to timestamp this just in case this happens and I look like a genius. What I can see happening is it's going to take Liverpool a lot of time to get used to this. Maybe they need to sign a defender in January. If they sign a defender in January and the strikers gel, I think they may be out of the title race by then. But I think if they have bought a defender and gelled a little bit more as an attacking unit, they might win the Champions League. Because if the Premier League's kind of gone by then, their motivation might not be there. And I can see them kind of going, Arsenal, Man City, they're too far ahead of us in the league. Let's put all of our eggs in the Champions League. Our attack's now gelled. We've now got a centre-back to go alongside Van Dijk. We're going to win the Champions League. I could see Liverpool winning the Champions League and finishing 4th in the league. That could happen. And it wouldn't necessarily be a bad season for them as a club. Kerry! Oh, you didn't get a notification and the video's wrapping up. The video's wrapping up, Kerry. But it was good. We've just finished talking about Liverpool, Manchester United, and how I think Liverpool might win the Champions League, but not do well in the Premier League. And if they're 3rd or 4th in the Premier League by January, February, I can see them going, you know what? Let's not worry about the Premier League this year. Let's go win the Champions League and give probably a Liverpool Bayern Munich final, and anyone can win that. So that's what we're talking about, Kerry. You can of course watch the video on playback if you want. I am about to wrap it up. We've done 1 hour on the dot. It's 59 minutes past, so I'm gonna wait for my OCD reasons to finish the stream exactly on the hour. But yeah, I'm gonna go and watch the West Ham game now, the second half. Brentford are 2-0 up. Oh, my GIFs are working now. Oh, it's because I've got the You don't need to know what's going on backstage, guys. Brentford are 2-up. They scored 2 before halftime. What? Who scored the second? Why does it say 1? Oh, no goal. VAR cancelled it. Thiago was fractionally offside. Thiago almost got a second goal. Wow. Kerry can't see Liverpool winning anything this year. I mean, right now, Kerry, I can't see Liverpool winning anything. However, I think if they just have a bit of time to gel and they sign the centre back in January, I can see them winning something then. I hope Acevedo had a shootout. Acevedo, Santos won. Santos won this weekend. We're back. The Santos boys are back. Let's finish off by talking about Santos. They won 2-0 in a game that I didn't expect them to win because Santos were playing Leon. And Leon were like 2 places above them in the table. And I know you don't go by the table all the time. But, wait, where are we? But Leon, Santos have only ever beaten Leon once, ever. It's like one of those fixtures where it's always a win for Leon or a draw. So Santos winning was huge. Amione, I wasted him in one of my under-23 lineups that had loads of DMPs in. I didn't see him scoring twice. He never scores. But I'm very encouraged, obviously, as a Santos fan. I think Acevedo's great. Amione's great. Abella is a solid right back. I really like Villalba. They didn't play my boy on the wing. They didn't play Christian Dahome, who I like. Yep. Big score indeed, Kerry. Big score indeed. A 100. Yeah. Where did I play him? Javik confirms Acevedo with the 100. Where did I waste him? I should have had more faith in the Santos boys. I just played I think I played a defensive stack somewhere. Look, Amione here. Amione wasted. Yeah, my last contender lineup, I played Acevedo and Abella, the right back. They both did amazing, and then everybody else. Wan-Bissaka. Why did I play Wan-Bissaka? Kerry, you managed to hit 3rd streaking contender. Well done, Kerry. Well done, Kerry. Let's hope I can hit the 3rd streak in Premier League next week because we hit streak number 2. So let's see who. Do you think he keeps a clean sheet again this midweek? I have played him in a lineup midweek. I have played him because I think he could keep a clean sheet next week. I think I'm encouraged by Santos' defense, not so much the attack. I think it's a good idea to make lineups with like these 2 guys from Santos. Because Mazatlan are not the best scoring team. It is an away fixture, but Mazatlan, again, they're not the best team. Santos look good defensively, not just last game, but they have looked good defensively this season. The problem has been scoring goals for Santos. When I went to the game against Tigres, I was very impressed with them. They lost 1-0 to Tigres, but Tigres were bombarding them all game. And yeah, their defense looks a lot more solid this year. They brought in a new guy called Balanta. He's solid. And when Acevedo's got better defenders in front of him, his scores are going to go up. So let's hope he gets a clean sheet, Javik, because I'm putting him in this all-star lineup in Division 1 with a couple of Tigres boys, some Spurs boys. Yeah. So that's my Mexico preview. We've got some Europa League fun this midweek. I said I was going to stop at the top of the hour. We've not stopped. Chelsea here. Yeah, we're excited about the midweek. Right, guys. Thank you to anyone who joined in the chat today. Love you all. Appreciate you all. I quite enjoyed doing a solo episode. I won't be as hesitant in the future to do solo episodes. I quite like rambling and not having to wait. Just free-form content. I hope some of that was interesting and useful. If people are watching this in the future, give it a like. Give me a subscribe if you've not already subscribed to the channel. Our last comment will be, I wasn't sure if I should pick Acevedo or Guzman in my main team. I had the exact same dilemma, Javik. And I think I went for Acevedo in my main team and Guzman in my second team. Just because Tigres haven't been that great this year. Tigres' defense just hasn't been that solid. And also,
I feel like there's a lot more rotation risk at Tigres and there's less rotation risk at Santos. So that concerns me. And also, Tigres have got a tricky fixture. They're playing, I think, who are they playing? Tigres are playing, he checks his Tigres team, Pachuca. They're playing Pachuca. So that's a tricky game than Mazatlan. So Acevedo has the better fixture. And I think that's enough to edge it for me. But you do you. You do you. Appreciate that, Kerry. And Javik has agreed. Right, guys. I'll be back on Thursday for a Road to Sorare Boss episode. On Friday, I'll have a Planet MFL video. And next Monday, I think we have a guest confirmed already. Let's hope no one cancels this time. I think it's Royal Ivy coming back. So do join us next Monday for that. Otherwise, I'm going to love you and leave you. I'll see you next week. Peace.